Welcome back, guys. My name is Patrick. This is the Fanatic Rundown. It was an ugly one tonight. Complete failure top to bottom. Mike Smith struggled, but every player in front of him almost looked just as bad. The Edmonton Oilers lay an egg. Montreal Canadiens pick up a 5-2 victory. They get their revenge for the Oilers' 7-2 victory a few weeks back. And yeah, Montreal was flying tonight. They owned the game. The Oilers they looked lost the whole game. I didn't mind the first period. I mean, the Oilers weren't quite on it, but I think it really fell apart in the second and the third. Montreal was winning all the puck battles. On special teams tonight, Montreal picks up 2 power play goals, a shorthanded goal. The Oilers get zilch on the power play. Like I said, the Oilers lost every battle. It was just one thing after another. This team is really missing Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Jesse Puljujarvi up front, 2 other, you could say, top 6, even though Nuge has been playing on the third line. He is really a top 6 forward too, so Oilers are down 2 top 6 forwards. Injuries are killing them, but no excuses for this team. No excuses. Everyone's tired. Every team has injuries of some kind. The Oilers still have all their big guns in the lineup: McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nurse. There's no excuse for this team to be putting the effort out, getting these losses. I talked a few games back before these 3 games that these were 6 huge points. Well, they're all huge points for the Oilers now, but these past 3 games against Philly, Chicago, and Montreal, these were 6 points the Oilers have to have in the bank. They walk away with 3 out of 6 points. They were lucky to get the point against Chicago, frankly. I mean, they played poorly against Chicago as well. Not as bad as tonight, I thought, but I thought tonight's game was worse. But still, if you go back to the start of the week, I mean, they didn't look great in the Philly game. The Flyers were just terrible. Mikko Koskinen was excellent that night, so they were able to walk away with a 3-0 victory. They didn't look good against Chicago, but they managed to squeak out a point by scoring in the last minute. And then Montreal just owned them tonight. So 3 out of 6 points against 3 teams that the Oilers should be able to beat. I mean, Montreal's on a heater. Chicago has really given them a lot of trouble the last few years. And Philly they beat. So I don't know, guys. This upcoming week is not going to get any easier. Calgary, Washington, and Tampa Bay. If the Oilers put in the kind of effort they put in against Philly, Chicago, and Montreal, that's going to be 3 more losses for the Oilers. They cannot afford to blow another 6 points. We're going into the trade deadline. Everybody wants the Oilers to add, me included, obviously. But if this continues, I don't know how the Oilers can go into the trade deadline as buyers. And if they're going into the trade deadline as sellers, that is a failure beyond massive failure. This team is capped out. It has 2 of the best players in the NHL, and it's fighting for a playoff spot right now and possibly selling at the deadline. I don't know if they're actually going to sell, because that would be probably too bad of a look on Ken Holland, but they probably won't add much of anything, which is basically selling out for the Oilers at this point. It's just all bad in Edmonton right now. Everything looked so much more promising when Jay Woodcroft took over. The Oilers were on that 5-game winning streak, but ever since that Minnesota game, it's pretty much gone downhill for the Oilers. That 7-3 loss kind of curtailed everything. The Oilers played some really hard teams, probably deserved better against Tampa Bay. Goaltending let them down there, but it hasn't been just goaltending for the Oilers, though. Koskinen's given them decent goaltending. Smith has definitely been hit and miss. So the Oilers have created their own problems, and it's dragging them down right now. It looks like Mike Smith could possibly be hurt. It looks like he pulled something in that third period as we were watching on TV, and apparently he was supposed to be on the panel for the interviews post-game, but he was getting looked at by the medical staff. Don't know if this is going to be something that puts him back on injured reserve, possibly long-term injured reserve. But a lot of fans, I'm reading on Twitter, me included, I want to see Stuart Skinner called up. So if Smith's hurt, then the Oilers have no choice but to go with Koskinen and Skinner at this point. I didn't really notice, but apparently Evan Bouchard was out the third period. I was talking to my buddy Mike, and he was saying Bouchard had a stomach problem, so don't know if that just put him out for tonight and he'll be back next game, or if there's some other kind of issue with Bouchard, but I guess we'll hear more on that tomorrow if that is going to be an extended issue. But yeah, guys, overall, this team has a ton of problems right now. They have injuries, they're tired, but they can't use any of that as an excuse. Injuries to other players don't stop you from competing. The Oilers are not competing right now. There's a big difference between losing a game 5-2 and losing a game 3-2 because, yeah, we had some guys down. We tried, the guys gave it their all, but they just couldn't get that third goal. We just didn't have the dogs in the fight tonight. But we can't give that excuse to the Oilers tonight. I mean, maybe against that Tampa Bay game last week, but tonight it was just a complete, total lack of effort. The Montreal Canadiens, give them credit. They played an excellent game. They've looked like a brand new team since their coaching change. They gave the Oilers all they could handle, and they killed them tonight. For my player of the game tonight, probably going to give that to Evander Kane again. Scored a nice goal. Really noticed him in the first, but even Kane kind of dropped off in the second and the third. Didn't notice him as much. Really hard to find an Oiler that was outstanding tonight. I mean, pretty much the whole team struggled top to bottom. For my play of the game tonight, I'll give that to Montreal's Nick Suzuki for his second goal of the second period. First one was called back. I didn't mention that yet. But yeah, a nice shot over the glove of Mike Smith. It was the winning goal tonight. The Oilers challenged two of Montreal's goals, won both those challenges, so they got them called back. So I guess this could have been a 7-2 hockey game instead of 5-2. And Montreal challenged the Oilers' second goal, but that one failed and the goal counted for the Oilers. Well, that's all for me for tonight, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care.